I'm Susie Silbert, Curator of Modern and Contemporary Glass, and I'm here with Dr. Karlyn Sutherland, the recipient of the 32nd Rakow Commission.
So my background is in architecture. I studied at Edinburgh College of Art and the University of Edinburgh. Have been working in glass since 2009.
Yes. So you came to glass relatively recently. You took a class with Jane Bruce, I read, and you. It sounded like you were just going to sit in it ethnographically, but somehow you became compelled to start making work yourself. How did that come about? Did she tell you had to make stuff?
No, not at all. So I was about a year into my PhD, and I had, like I said, I'd been doing this reading about Northlands and this magical place and this experience that all these visitors had had. So I applied for a place on that masterclass, and I took a chance, I guess, and allowed me to come on the class, and I realised really quickly that I was hooked on making, on the material. I think it was the second day in, and I had been quite quiet, and Jane asked if I was okay, and I said, yeah, I think that architecture was a really terrible mistake and that I should have done glass.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Leibster and its history?
So its history, before it was famous for Northland's creative glass, it was famous as a fishing port during the herring industry in the northeast of Scotland. And it's a very small place, but it was at one point the third largest herring port in Scotland. Then the fishing industry changed. There is still fishing that goes on there, but it's on a much smaller scale. And then in 1996, Northland's Creative Glass was founded in the village, and then that has evolved and grown and has brought a whole new lease of life to the place, I think.
Can you tell us about the Rakow Commission piece and your inspiration for it?
So when I found out about the commission, I was at the end of, I suppose, an almost 2-year period where I'd been travelling quite a lot. And I was returning home to Leibster and thinking about what I wanted to make. And I knew it would be a wall-based piece. And it was about coming back home. I went to Australia twice, but it was about coming back home in that gap in the middle. And when I travel, I like to do it all in one go. So I left Canberra and travelled all the way back to Caithness without stopping or staying anywhere. And then the next day, waking up in my parents' house, and it was so surreal but so familiar at the same time. So it was about that slightly disjointed, almost outer body experience where you're kind of readjusting to your surroundings. And it's always been a favourite corner of the house for me.
So the Rakow Commission piece has 3 components. What do they describe?
They describe frames in a way, I suppose. 2 of them are, the 2 larger components relate to window frames and the depth of windowsills, and the other is, the smaller component is actually a picture frame on the wall. So I'm thinking about the framing of views and the relationship between internal and external and the connection with the environment outside. I didn't want to force a piece. Like, I felt like it had to come from experience or sketches or something that existed already, rather than, I think, having to put pressure on myself to come up with something new. It had to exist already, I think, for me.
What do you hope viewers see in your work?
Ideally, I think that I would like people to question their own perception of space. I think to maybe make them look at it in a different way, or to have a different kind of awareness of their surroundings. I would really hope that I can draw attention to the way that we observe space. I'm really interested in the way that in a lot of contemporary architecture there is this striving for, like, this kind of ageless perfection, where it is about, big expanses of surfaces that are seamless and everything is perfect. That's what's presented to us in journals and newspapers, and are these kind of perfect environments that aren't really, they're not real, they're not physically attainable. And so it is about rendering and intentionally making something that looks like a render that doesn't look real. And I suppose the piece is as much as it is about detachment, it's also about the other side of the coin, which is my own experience of attachment with that place, which, you know, has all those qualities of a restorative environment. So it's just about experiencing the other side of it.